Well, forZe walk away with Mirage 16-7 here at the Chicago Invitational, and HellRaisers are looking a little bit stunned. They didn't get a single round in the second half of Mirage, so they're going to definitely turn things around here in Overpass.
Yeah, no, they got flattened, but I guess we expected forZe to win, maybe not in that dominant of a fashion, but no, expected them to come out with a victory in the first map pick, seeing that was theirs, and now going into Overpass, we were kind of expecting the roles to be completely reversed. And if anything, I before we went into Mirage, even I was expecting Overpass to be the one, I guess, the most one-sided map that we were going to see all series.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, because we're seeing already sort of Oscar get activated late into the first half. He started to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just didn't really look too comfortable on Mirage, but here on Overpass today, everyone on HellRaisers just looked good. So
yeah,
that's definitely going to be a big problem moving forward for forZe, but it's definitely starting to look like a pretty good matchup between these two teams. You know, their pools are pretty similar. I think obviously Overpass and Mirage probably the two maps that they should feel comfortable in terms of winning the picks. But even if, you know, realistically, if they win Overpass here, HellRaisers, we go to that third map, which will be Inferno, and we've already talked about how, you know, once close that one can be.
Absolutely, I think it fits both teams very well what we've ended up on here. And I mean, even though we were expecting HellRaisers to have a much easier time of it going into Overpass, we shouldn't necessarily count out forZe by any means. I mean, we've seen their individuals; they can step up, they can have massive games on their own to turn things around, and it doesn't really take that much of I guess. A fall or just a bit of flatness, I guess, from HellRaisers to really have this spiral out of control. So even though we are assuming that this should be one of the more comfortable victories for HellRaisers, you can't necessarily just think it's going to be easy by that means.
Yeah, I don't think you can take any game for granted against forZe. I think they're, again, they've just proven that they're an unpredictable team. And even for us, you know, it's like you could be unpredictable in the server, but you can also be unpredictable in terms of like what we're expecting to come up with. Because we take a look at their map pool, and it's pretty deep for a team that don't really attend that many events or don't play against the best of the opponents.
Exactly. Like that's the weird thing, and I guess Overpass is one of the few maps that are kind of lacking behind outside of maybe Vertigo, I guess. So. Yeah, no, it's just been very fun to watch them over these last couple of weeks, just very closely, because they have had so much to offer. And again, it's not to try to downplay what HellRaisers have been able to do on Overpass specifically. You know, as of late, again, nearly beat Liquid. They've taken down some pretty big scalps in Fnatic, Big, and so on just recently. So it's just that I keep continually getting more and more impressed by forZe. That's really what it comes down to. It's not necessarily being disappointed or wanting more from HellRaisers in this matchup. It's just forZe. They should become at this trajectory, they should become a team that more and more people talk about. They become, you know, stable, hanging around. Instead of a top fringe 30 team, it's going to be a top 20 team, potentially top 15 team in the world, and it's going to open, you know. They're going to be opening the eyes of a lot of viewers, I think, as they move forward.
Yeah, and something we've bound on about, we talked about quite a lot, is sort of the potential of pretty much everyone on forZe being at the top of the scoreboard at different times. And again, that happens here. It's Flit at the top of the scoreboard. Definitely looked like a solid player, and I think we're going to have to see.
You got any early ideas as to who's going to be the top fragger for them?
I think we just kind of have to go through a list of forZe roster and just like put your finger on a random player, and I'm just going to go with Almeza this time.
Guy, okay.
Almeza hasn't done anything.
No, well, you say haven't done anything. He did play a pretty decent Mirage, but did get overshadowed by Flit, as pretty evident. I think he ended up with 30 or 31.
Yeah, I think he did hit the 30 in the end, so I think it was just slightly over 30 kills. So
not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
Yeah, no, definitely cool to see that they have so much to play off of. It's not just the Z Power show. It's not just Jerry or just Almazar. It's literally everyone having their say in it. And on the set of HellRaisers, it's been a lot of Oscar. I would like to see a little bit more out of Issa. He had a pretty strong showing in their first map versus Nordovin. Again, Oscar taking most of the spotlight, but he was silently just following right behind him fragging-wise. But I'd like to see Issa being more involved in what HellRaisers are doing, whether it's T or CT side.
Yeah, Issa's a player that's had so much hype around him. I think at the Faceit Majors, really when it started to really take off, because it's such a great event there. You know, dynamic duo with Woxic, and obviously he's gone to Motorsports, and Issa, he hasn't really been at the same level.
Yeah, it kind of lost his running partner, right?
Yeah.
It's that deadly duo of Woxic and Issa. It was torn apart, and I'm not sure if he's having a harder time adjusting to the newer players in the team. If that's what
symptoms.
It is. Exactly right. It could be a little bit of adjustment period for him, just on an individual point of view, or from an individual point, to get used to playing with Oscar instead of Oxy, because obviously they play differently, and how you actually deal with that, and if they've changed just integral parts of how the squad just moves in basic, right? Like if they're changing up setups, on the CT side, or if they just attack things differently on their T side, that can swing your performance of an individual player quite significantly. So, I'm simply just looking to see more out of him because we know how good of an individual he can be.
Yeah, and something we really didn't talk about is HellRaisers kind of the communication issues that could be a problem. You know, look at many people.
Yeah,
they have 5 different nationalities on the team. Like, that's just, it's not unheard of, but it's, you know, they're vastly different nationalities. You know,
exactly.
Not right beside each other.
Yeah, it's not like you come from the same region where everybody kind of. It would have been like if you had the Swiss, Belgian, France mix. Like, well, you know, at least you know they have a common language in there that they can work with, and
the Nordic countries, you know, it's not
exactly
too dissimilar.
Yeah, you can make sense of what everyone's saying. Now you have a guy from Jordan, you have a guy from Ukraine, Czech Republic, and I mean, Lithuania.
Yeah.
I guess that's where you might have some sort of similarities between Czech Republic, Lithuania, and Ukraine, right?
Maybe.
Might be. I don't know my language trees too well.
I think they look pretty different when I'm looking at their writing, so I'm assuming it's going to be different in the way they're spoken.
That is fair, actually. But yeah, no, they have they have quite the, I guess, task ahead of them in terms of communication. Obviously, Lowell's not even close to any one of them.
He's Spanish, yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't get any help in that sense.
Just got to have good English. That's all. That's all that needs to happen in this team. But I'm definitely keen to sort of see if we start to see sort of those evidence of communication problems. I don't think we've seen too much of it from HellRaisers, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, you say it's nice to see, but that obviously means that they have different issues. I think
true.
From an individual point of view, they might have not been playing up to par for some of them. So, it's, as you said, it's good to see that part is not costing them too much trouble.
There certainly is other things, though.
Yeah, now they need to make sure that their individual level steps up, because it can't be only Oscar doing it each and every time. He can't be the one to put you on the right track time and time again. I guess Nukia as well is like a player we saw a lot more of in his former teams than what we have in HellRaisers. Again, different roles and different responsibilities, but we know that he's very capable if given the chance. We'll see, though. CT side start for HellRaisers and forZe. Well, they're not going to have an easy time here on Overpass.
Well, that's the way the land is laid. Let's see if forZe can surprise us. It is going to be Z-Power already close towards middle. He's the only man there and not really doing a great job to try and sell a bit of a fake. He will be dropped immediately by Nukia, and here comes the push. HellRaisers getting off to a good start. The first kill is his onto Angel when coming into the B bomb site, but Lol doing his best to try and stand tall in behind the barrels, and a great crossfire coming in here from HellRaisers. They find the kills needed, and Jerry's been finished off, so Oscar with 2 there in the pistol. Good start coming into it. And Angel, the only player on HellRaisers, not finding a kill into the pistol. So 1-0, HellRaisers off to the good start that they would be looking for. And yeah, this is much more likely. We take a look at the map winner here from GG.Bet. The odds are certainly favoring HellRaisers. And I'm not going to say it's by a whole lot, but it is pretty convincingly so.
It is for the time being. I guess forZe does have it in them to I guess, play at a high level. We did see them beat G2 on Overpass. G2,
not a bad team to beat.
Absolutely. And then get trounced heavily by Liquid.
Not a bad team to lose by.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But they've also had losses to Russian sides like Espada and so on that, you know, should be able to beat if you're at the caliber of forZe, at least on their average level. So yeah, there's where we have seen consistency out of forZe as a team on various maps. Overpass has not been it. So we have had the swingingest individual performances on various maps, but it's always bringing them to the same, I guess, end station on a map like Mirage or Dust 2 or what have you. We're going to need to see if they can come up with a concoction and a solution for how to deal with that on Overpass as well. So it seems like the first way to combat this, the first attempt at least, to get into this is going to be this 3rd round bye.
Feels like the first 2 rounds went so quickly for HellRaisers. Not much of a problem for them. This might just be a bit more of a problem as forZe have brought the AKs to the table. Utility available on most players bar Jerry, who has literally nothing. So that's not exactly the intended play for Jerry, but here goes a flash over the top. Nukia, the flash buying, it's not going to exactly go where he wanted, and it will be Angel taking the head off Jerry. Early pick is there for HellRaisers, and they want to follow up on it as well. If they can get the first gun round under their belt, this is the greatest start they could be looking for. Molotov goes in towards Connector from HellRaisers. Going to force him into the open. Nukia will take the fight down, wins it. Z-Power tries to step up, nearly gets the second, but cannot quite connect. And so FaZeCrack, Flit, the last two players standing here for forZe. FaZeCrack does collect himself a kill to Nukia, and it's still within touching distance here. If the bomb plant comes in, that's when things start to look a little bit better for them. However, Oscar on the big flank. He's coming through mid. He could be a big thorn in their side. FaZeCrack just holding off the players coming back in from the lower bomb site. This could be a big problem. FaZeCrack is going to take the first fight. There's the headshot. Lol in with the trade. Flit looking for another, and there's the spray. Lol falls apart. It's all onto Oscar. Into the 1v1 up against Flit. The top fragger for forZe in the last map. Has to try and get it done here in the first gun run. Just baiting. Realizes Oscar's not on the bomb, and Flit is playing this one perfectly. forZe have turned this one around, and I'm afraid from HellRaisers, they've kind of let this one slip. There it is. Flit takes the headshot. It's the first gun run for forZe.
That's one way of doing it. forZe get onto the board pretty early on, at least. And that's also going to be a tough one to respond, really, for HellRaisers as well. You can see the money. It's not really in a stable place right now. 3.8 on Lowell as the highest earner on HellRaisers. Oh, well. Could be interesting to see if forZe get off to a similar start as they did on Mirage, if they're able to work off of that to potentially close it out. I did not expect 2-0 to be a possibility. I think if anyone were to have that within them out of these two teams, it would have been HellRaisers. But here we go.
Yeah, this is a decent sign from forZe, you know, showing that they can compete early. If they can keep that up on Overpass, you know, you never know. They might actually be able to challenge HellRaisers here. Although they're going to go for the triple boost. Angel's going to be the man on the top, but that's Zombie mid. It's not quite working too well here. Eventually they will get over the top, and Angel, he falls off. That definitely could have been a kill. Jerry has just got away with his life. He will walk into the corner. Issa, he's going to take the headshot with the deagle. Jerry's been finished off, and that should signal to Jerry there's multiple players on the B-bomb site, if not a stack, and so FaZeCrack will take away Nukia. And we'll be into a 4v4, running right through the smoke. FaZeCrack wants another here as Angel trying to go willy-nilly right through the smoke to see if he can pick up a kill, but unfortunately, he will not salvage one, and this is not looking too great for HellRaisers as they're just being ripped apart by HellRaisers and FaZeCrack. Last man standing is Issa. He's the only player to source the kill so far for HellRaisers, but he's going to need a little bit more than that.
Well, that's one way to get started at the very least. Picks up the Galil. Probably wishes that was an AK. Ooh. It's a significant damage on the Flit as well. See if we can find another kill. It's not going to be the case. No, 2 for 2 on those A takes from forZe with weapon in hand. Jerry Almazer going down. They're going to have no problems reinvesting either. Now we're going to see the buy coming up from HellRaisers once more. It's going to be, well, not ideal in terms of utility. As you can see, one Molotov and actually extremely few flashes. That is probably the more worrying sign of it. Issa not even opting to get flashes with the 650 he had left over. That's a bit of an odd one. Already, 2 out of the 5 smokes they had have been expended. We'll make that 3. And down Issa goes. So he wanted to play aggressive.
Just as well I didn't buy the flashbangs.
Yeah, saved himself at least 400 extra of a loss.
Although he probably could have got the kill if he used a good flash.
I feel like yeah, that's the mentality that you need to have, right? Like you could set up teammates, you can set up yourself for something cool, and Jerry actually just walks around the corner to find Lowell. Angel is able to get the response, but he's going to have to deal with the entirety of the forZe team now.
Yeah, well, cannot do that. FaZeCrack comes in, just too much to handle for Angel. Nukia and Oscar, you know, the money's not good for here for HellRaisers. They're so far away. It will be the save, and there's not a whole lot left in the bank for HellRaisers. And so forZe, they'll be very happy. They're about to take the lead here on the pick of HellRaisers at the beginning of Overpass.
Well. I'd be pretty damn impressed if we saw forZe running away with this. Obviously still very early days, but I'm intrigued.
I feel like there's always that point, you know, HellRaisers are going to eventually step into it.
You'd imagine so, right?
But something we seen earlier was as soon as HellRaisers, they did struggle at the start, but as soon as they got the guns into their hands, that's when they just looked completely indomitable. So the fact that they're struggling when it even comes to the gun runs, that's a very good sign for forZe, I have to say. And if you're a forZe fan, definitely a possibility that this can happen.
If you're a forZe fan, bank on a win right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just stay confident.
In the books.
Cheer for your team.
Yeah, no worries. They're going to close this out now. Jerry finding the opening frag. 2 of them, actually. As you can see, just casually walks around the corner to find level at the wrong time. Well, for the Spaniard, that is. 3rd round and back to a bit of an eco. I guess these are the kind of rounds that HellRaisers are notorious for winning out, putting Oscar in a position to frag early on. Create some chaos. forZe did a better job of dealing with this than what Nordavind did. See, they just figured out, as soon as we play into Oscar, we're just going to run the other way.
Yeah, I think that's generally the right call. Nordavind should probably take a leaf out of that book because they ran into Oscar.
5 times.
Yeah.
It was 5 quick deaths as well.
They're never going to live that down after we seen that, though.
Yeah, no, it was a rough one, wasn't it? I'm definitely going to remind them once I talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Afterwards.
You need to give them a good talking to. Saying your embarrassment to the Norwegians.
I guess one thing that's good for HellRaisers, though, to keep in mind is they didn't have the greatest of starts on their CT side either versus Nordavind, and then they really came back with a vengeance towards the end of it, closed out the second half perfectly.
Oh my
Jesus.
How does this even happen? Like, forZe can just randomly do things that no one else does, and it's absolutely unbelievable.
It's not even a contest, so Nick, you had that M4 going into this round. You might want to think about keeping onto it as well. He's going to duck out of there. Sensibly, our sensible choice to make. Angel just hoping that somebody's going to rotate through underpass. I don't really see that being too much of a likely scenario for forZe. They have a clear venture towards that T-spawn to hold on to their guns.
forZe may be a team that a lot of, newer Counter-Strike fans are probably unfamiliar with, but the organization itself has been around for quite some time. Like 2001, I think it was established in.
forZe, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been here for a long time.
They've had some good Russian teams up and through the years. It's been rather quiet, I guess, in CSGO, but if you go back to the 1.6 days and earlier, they were quite the powerhouse, really, in Russian Counter-Strike.
A force to be reckoned with.
Cheeky. No, absolutely correct in that. Cool to see them finding some more recent success as well. It's starting to be a while since 2001, and I mean starting to be a while since 1.6 as well. But
yeah, it's like nearly 20 years ago since CS, obviously. So that's pretty crazy. That's older than me.
Yeah. There you go. Oof. Oscar did a really good job with this again versus opposing Oppers in their first matchup as well, winning out these duels. They're going to have a lot of impact as well. Z-Power, we've seen how good he's been at finding openings for forZe.
This is a nice boost. I always want to see this, but it never really happens too often, and FizzCrack can't quite capitalize, so he has to fall away. And that would have been great. That would have been, the equalizing kill. But Oscar's gone on a bit of a push. He's going to walk right through the park, and he wants to take the kill. There it is. That's the bomb. That's the best player he could have found as well. And he gets so much info off of that. He can fall all the way back in towards toilets. He might just source another one here as well. Jerry is looking for the reply, but he's going to be caught by Issa. Nukia falls inside of the connector, and still, it's not looking great for forZe, but that kill might have just kept him in it. Oscar, AWP, connects onto FizzCrack, and the last player alive is Flit. A 1v3 with 35 seconds left to play with. He's still got utility, but it's not going to be easy by any means. He still has to try and find at least one kill here, maybe even 2 if he decides to go towards the A-bomb site. So it's not going to be easy whatsoever, and with the time so low, he might just actually just consider saving whatever he's got, because getting towards that A-bomb site, he's got to go immediately. Well, he's got the kill on the Oscar, so perhaps that's enough to try and encourage him towards this side of the map. And there is a player in behind Optimus and one in mid. That might have been enough just to really catch him out, and indeed it is. Law will take him away, and it is 4-3. So HellRaisers a little bit better there. That's the aggression from Oscar really paying off for them.
Oscar once again just doing what he can to make sure HellRaisers stay alive in this one. But it is a little bit worrying, the fact that HellRaisers so often have to rely on him coming up this big to get a foothold into the game. As you see the updated odds from GG.Bet, HellRaisers now ever so slightly favorite, 1.77 in odds of them, forZe sitting at 1.97. Honestly, I'm actually a little bit surprised to see forZe having, you know, that close numbers really to HellRaisers, but
yeah,
performing to that effect, I guess.
The thing I'm more surprised about is the level they've got here already. You know, they're actually looking good at the start of this map, and that's exactly. It's not exactly what we were expecting. You know, HellRaisers coming into this, as soon as we seen the rifles, I was kind of expecting them to sort of walk over forZe and start to show that they have got the dominance here on Overpass, but it seems to be forZe are going to be competing across this map if they keep this level up, and something that can even arise even further for them is Z-Power. You know, he hasn't really been involved too much, and if he can get even more impact across the board, that's when forZe can even look better.
Now then, Flip might be called upon action here. Ooh, it's well, a little bit of damage, but that's a pretty easy peek for him to hold, and Oscar's going to go down to face crack as well. That's such a big pickup. 2 immediate openings for forZe. Now then, what do you do if you're HellRaiser in this scenario? You haven't been able to scrape together any money. You're not really able to stabilize, and you kind of, well, at this stage, have to gamble towards one of the bomb sites in hopes of mounting a proper defense. Ooh, this is not an ideal scenario by any means.
Especially losing a player like Oscar so early that could, you know, turn it around by himself.
Yeah.
Losing that impact so early is definitely a big problem for HellRaisers, and forZe are going to be starting to send a lot of their troops in towards the B-bomb site. It's got to be a big play. The timing needs to be perfect here for Angel. Lol needs at least 1 kill, and he might just go aggressive to him, and there's the kill from Angel. He nets 2, and that's important. Almazra will drop him back, but still there's a chance. Lol might be the man to turn it around for HellRaisers. He gets aggressive. There's the play. Issa with a pickup. It's all on Z-Power, and Angel has just saved the team, really. Z-Power goes right through the smoke. He gets the kill on the clock. What is going on? This is absolute madness from Z-Power. And he wants to go back in towards the A-bomb site. The fake smoke comes in towards the site. Is that enough to sell the fake? Well, Lol doesn't think so.
Yeah.
He's coming right back.
Oh, Lol's read this.
I think the smoke was a little too early.
Yeah, it was just like too willy-nilly, right? Of a smoke. Didn't really have any...
Oh, God.
Oh, it's just going to sneak up as well.
Lol has not... He's played this one well. Lol's going to pick it up. Surely, but no! Z-Power is so quick on the AWP. And Lol is finished off. It's 4 on 5.
Lol can't play that any better.
No, Lol makes the right call. He creeps up. He has no ideas there. And Z-Power still hits it.
All right, then. Well, you wanted to see Z-Power getting into it. You wanted to see him activated on this map. That could be the difference maker. I don't think we're going to get a clear example of why that is than just that round. I mean, even from a 3v5, HellRaisers just make the most out of that round to get the perfect pinch in water. They find everyone they need. Then it's just, I guess, the downside of having a low econ buy, right? Issa going down to the Glock because he doesn't have head armor. And Z-Power just hitting a nut shot. Aggression's going to be the name of the game again. Z-Power, you might just want to get out of here. Yeah, bring the bomb as well. Pressure galore. Actually finds Angel on the way out, too. So survives with 16 HP. Almazra the one to go down. But he's got 2 players already cleared out that B-bomb site. So bomb's going to go down. A pretty easy clear out for HellRaisers once we get the dust to settle.
Well, this has been so impressive from forZe. I literally cannot believe the start that they've got here on the T side. Lol, he is going to be finished off, and Issa, he is the last man alive. AK-47 in hand. Obviously, you'd want to carry that one over into the next one. But this player's relatively close by, and the player I'm looking at to maybe take him away is faceCrack, who is off towards long, starting to encroach on Issa's position. And he will just hide behind the rock. This is looking like he will be able to get it, unless he gives away his position and leaves the rock. The rock is the safe place. Just hide behind the rock. There we go.
Hide behind Dwayne.
Yeah, no one's gonna mess with you if you hide behind Dwayne Johnson. This video.
The rock is a safe place, a safe haven.
Man, he lives such a sick life. The only thing I wouldn't like about Dwayne Johnson's life is the amount of the sheer amount of food that he has to eat, and the sheer like blandness of the food. Like
the amount of food,
rice and chicken.
The amount of food, and also just when he wakes up at day. Like, he wakes up at 4 in the morning to go work out. That's a bit extreme. You know,
other than that, it would be pretty cool to be The Rock.
I mean, just to wake up, I guess, with his size, right? Like, with his muscles.
Just without any effort, that would be pretty nice.
I'd love that.
Just like some Samoan warrior.
Oh, man. Flit, again, finding success with the peak. This time he will get traded out, though. Oscar proving too powerful. And I guess if you're HellRaisers, you do take that trade of the things rather than having Oscar go down. Whoa, okay, Face Crack, you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
Yeah, he just walks around the corner not expecting a single player to be there. And Angel,
it's like, what?
Punish him for that.
They're protecting the A bomb site?
Why is he there?
All right. Well, expecting more out of Monster. That's not going to be the case. But
Oscar,
they might not be. Yeah, they might not be expecting Oscar to be a part of the Monster push here.
Quiet though. He hears footsteps in the scope, but nope. He misses the shot though.
Z-Power, you kind of want to react to this?
Well, if they eliminate Angel, it pretty much just gives him the bomb site and no pressure whatsoever. But Angel, he'll win the Angel. Jerry is going to fall. It's all in the Z-Power again. Having to pull off the clutch. The headshot comes in. He's not even checked behind him. Oscar's going to start spamming through, but he's running back towards the A bomb site. Z-Power, he's just got tunnel vision. He knows how to play this, and he's going to get that bomb planted.
Yeah, this time no fakes. This time, well, Oscar's not falling for it either. Yeah, swapped out. Doesn't have an op to his name. That's pretty much the upper hand Oscar has here, but so many angles to deal with. Ooh, gives it away. Still not on very low HP. Oscar can deal with this, but as the second he moves into Optimus, Z-Power is close enough. They were actually see a bit of a difference because I saw a similar scenario in the first matchup as well in HellRaisers versus Nordaman, where Croman, albeit he had an op in that situation, decided to play far more further back.
Yeah.
From the stairs, not being able to control what's going on the side of the HellRaisers player trying to get into it. This time we see a much, I guess, well, to me at least, a much better approach from Z-Power.
Yeah, far more aggressive.
Constantly being active, having a bit of an eye on what's going on when Oscar nears the side, what kind of movements he might be doing. So you're constantly keeping him on edge and force.
He sort of dictates it himself the way it's meant. He wants to play it,
right?
And it's in his court, right?
Yep.
And I think putting the pressure on the AWP as well is that if you are so close and you're constantly moving, it's much more difficult.
It's tough, yeah, because you get one opportunity to nail that shot. If you don't, you're most likely dead, right? So for Z-Power to make that kind of move, really good to see. And it's gotten them to 7 rounds on the T side.
I remember saying like 2 rounds ago, before Z-Power had the 2 big clutches, if he steps up, then that's another thing forwards can add to the tally, and he's done that. So not bad whatsoever, and this is quite impressive. 7 rounds already on the T side of Overpass, and it's the map pick of HellRaisers. So certainly the start that he's just walking through fire. What is Z-Power doing? That's not a play that you want to be doing too often. He's dropped to 10 HP. FaceCrack knows that fire hurts, so he'll stand on the other end of it. And Flit has got the early kill with a nade onto Issa, so good start again. forZe have the man advantage without having to really see anybody. Jerry needs to be careful. Almazir going up towards long in the top left corner. Trying to source some information down. There's a player on the other end of this wall. As Almazir starts to make his way up, needs to be careful. Most of the troops still over towards that B side of the map, but this could be the kill from Almazir, making his way in towards the bomb side. He's going to catch off the rotations. The play is perfect from forZe. Well played across the map. It's all onto Nukia. 1v4. It just won't happen. This is going to be an 8-3 scoreline. forZe already confirming themselves at least a run lead moving into that second half, and they're coming in from the less favored side of Overpass.
And I mean, following this round, doesn't matter if Nukia saves. It's not going to be a great force buy if that's what HellRaisers want to do. They're completely broke. I mean, forZe just dominating right now. I was expecting this to be similar start to what we saw versus Nordavan. HellRaisers having a little bit of a rough time getting into it, and then basically just hitting the on switch and closing it out from there. But forZe, man, there's no stopping to these guys. So, got to get an 8th round here. They will be going up against an eco on the side. Well, actually, this might be a force buy. It is HellRaisers after all. And they are starting to feel the pressure for rounds. It's going to be a pause in. I'm assuming this is HellRaisers actually talking things over whether or not they want to force into it. The problem for me is, though, if they're doing a lackluster force buy here with not a lot of utility, they haven't had too much success with their aggression. The 2 times we've seen them play aggressively towards Underpass, it's basically ended with a 2-for-1 favor trade overall for Flit. Either he's been gone 1-for-1, or he's just gone 1-for-0. You can deal with that as a T side. You're pretty happy to play 4v4. Just opens up the map a whole lot. And if you're not going aggressive on the side of HellRaisers, well, you don't have any utility to hold back pushes. And we've seen that forZe have no issue setting up for proper executes, using their utility properly, and committing hard to bomb sites. So they don't really get staggered and stunned in the sense that they stop halfway through a push. So if you're HellRaisers, what do you do? Well, they are going to invest some at least. Not a whole lot. Oscar actually just going completely clean on the eco here just to make sure he gets that off with the utility he wants. But man, this is impressive from forZe.
Yeah. I think even HellRaisers are probably a little bit shocked as to what's going on right now. Like, they probably did
they
not
didn't expect this. Yeah. Well, we didn't expect this either.
No, definitely not. So HellRaisers coming into this probably like, well, this was meant to be ours. This is not the way the script is meant to go.
It is our Mapic, right?
This is the one we're meant to be good at.
Yeah. It's like we nearly beat Liquid on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
forZe. The thing is, I still don't feel convinced that forZe can, come at it. If they end up, continuing this form on the Overpass, I don't feel like they can come into the next Overpass game and be like, we've learned this map. Like we know what we're doing now, because we've seen such up and downs performances on this very map from them. So
luckily they're on up, it seems, at the minute.
Yeah, definitely doing so.
But yeah, it's always, I think it's building up to consistency over like a long period of time against a lot of different teams is the important part. Like your playstyle might just match up well against HellRaisers, but completely terribly against another team. So
like Liquid.
Yeah.
At least on Overpass. Face Crack once again finding more heads for his collection. SN Lowell left to their own devices. Split up on each bomb site. Nice opening from Lowell, but it's going to be just that, the opening, nothing more. As it with a Deagle like Kev. I guess you could attempt to save, in this situation. Bring the light Kevlar into the next round. Cheaper upgrade for potential head armor, even though that's not really going to matter too much considering you're going up against full AKs. But $650 saved on at least light Kevlar. He's going to go that route, seeing if he can line up Z-Power. And if you miss that first shot, you get out of dodge.
Yeah, but not Z-Power. If he misses, he seems to just want to go forward again. He's like, damn it, I missed. I'm going back again for more, but it really feels like we're clutching at straws right now to find a positive for HellRaisers. It's like, yes, it can save light armor. It's like, no, it's not going too well for HellRaisers whatsoever.
I mean, what we had going for us, on Mirage was the fact that, Oscar's starting to hit some shots, getting more into it, even though it does end up being a bit of a stomping once they get over to the second half, but that's at least what helps them get back into the game in the first half. Now there's nobody really making a mark on the side of HellRaisers. Everyone's pretty
everyone's
even.
quiet,
Yeah, it's just everyone's bragging about like the same amount of output, more or less, but they're just getting trounced by forZe.
Well, utility coming in here from forZe. That'll be Molotov, smokes, and in between being thrown all across the map. At this point, forZe want to take a little bit of a slower approach towards B. And actually, nope, they've changed that. They're going to go straight into B. Grenade comes in, does a little bit of damage, but Almizer coming straight through as the front man. Flashbang's in, it's Issa picking up that kill. Man advantage available to HellRaisers, and the grenade coming through. That's actually scared forZe away. They hope that they've pulled the rotation far enough, and they've sent Jerry in. He's going to be the sacrificial player at this point. He just needs to stay on this bomb site, stay alive. Is it going to be the double fake for forZe? They're going to fake that they've fallen back to try and pull the rotation back up towards A and then come back in. That's genius, and Jerry is doing a lot of damage on his own. He's got 2 kills. This forces forZe to go in towards the bomb site. There's no real reason why they shouldn't, and Face Crack's got rid of Lowell, so things are looking really solid here for forZe. Unless Nukia can get in the action, and he's been spotted. Nice shot from Z-Power. It's all on Oscar. A 1v3 clutch needs to happen here if he wants to give HellRaisers a slight chance. And we've definitely seen him be able to do this so far. But it's not going to happen here. Z-Power is dominating that battle, and that's so interesting to see.
Yeah. Wasn't a flash in the pan what we saw last week in the Cologne Invitational, where Z-Power got the better of Oscar. He's doing it here as well. He might have had a bit of a quiet start to Mirage, but he's really getting into a zone. Now that we've swapped over to Overpass, you see the scoreboard. It's Z-Power, Face Crack, and Flit It's not like Almaz or Jerry are falling far behind either, but they are the ones leading the charge, numbers-wise at least, and forZe make it to double-digit. They've just been, yeah, the Cinderella story of both these invitationals so far. We'll see how far they can take it. Still, they need to close this out. Oscar, here's a lot of jumping over by Playground as he moves into the smoke.
Well, this guy just walks around the corner. He's going to pick up Oscar. Nuka, they get one back, and Almaz will find Nuka. It's into a 3v3. Angel's pushed all the way through.
Yeah, that could actually be pretty deciding.
Yeah, because can't really rotate back that way unless they just go straight through connector.
Yeah, when Angel decides to push forward, that's going to be the real big telling point as to how this round's going to pan out. He's being very patient now, expecting a rotation back towards speed. The problem for him, though, is the fact that there's always going to be the opening through underpass that he has to consider as a possibility. Though it does seem like forZe have set their mind towards that bomb set. There is 2 players holding heavily on it. That's Issa and Lowell, CZ, and an M4. So forZe have the utility to basically clear out a couple of nasty angles, but they might just want to go for the surprise momentum here. Angel has started his move behind as well. The tricky thing is Bomb is still down in underpasses. Angel actually got to go down underpass to check that first.
Oh, he pulls his knife.
Oh, God.
That's so unfortunate. Issa will take away Z-Power, but lol, he's still standing, but it's into the 1v1.
Oh, yeah, time is not working in the favor of Flit. He needs to find this frag onto Lowell.
He has to go quickly. Lowell's just peeked. He wants to take a fight, and Flit pulls it off. 3 seconds left on the clock and still makes it happen. 11-3, forZe. Everything's just going their way.
Everything is going their way. And, well, 11-3. Even if HellRaisers were to have an exceptional T side, you can't really favor them into this. I'm really curious to see what the odds are looking like right now. That would be quite the treat to see. I had HellRaisers as clear favorite going into this. I was expecting a much better performance.
I think we were both on the same page for that, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody would probably be on the same page.
I feel like at this point, I just should be punished whenever I go against forZe. They've just been so good whenever we've seen them play.
It's kind of like when people used to predict against Mega Squadron during the E-League Major, and they just used to beat everyone.
Yeah,
it's
just
like,
kept expecting them to fail, right?
It's like, surely this is the end of it. But nope. It's looking good for forZe. It's about to be a 12-3 half on the map pick of HellRaisers. Unless Issa and Lowell can pull it right back, and they've done exactly that. So man advantage for HellRaisers yet again.
Z-Power still alive, though. Ooh, and the aggressive push from Nuki is not going to pan out. Flit turns this back into a 2v2, and Lowell is on so low HP. It's 1 bullet, and he's going to be down. And they're actually so far off with their rotation as well. Flit's going to make it all the way over to the bomb site without any sort of issues. He's going to hear the rotation coming in as well. He knows he's got the drop on them.
Well, smoke is going to come in. That's going to cover off the vision from the stairs. Bomb gets planted as well. Issa coming back in from connector. Flit is just looking for some sort of pick, but Issa needs to be careful. Z-Power's inside of the toilets. Issa, he could get the drop on him. Just going to peek the corner. Missed shot from Z-Power. And that'll be the kill from Issa. All onto Flit. He's been able to pull off clutches so far. Can he do it again? He slipped through the smoke and on top of the stairs.
Still has a nade as well.
Yeah.
And it's Lowell with the defuse kit. And he's low HP.
If you can get rid of him, that's a big problem in the spray. This could be perfect. He could really spray away. 1 second on the defuse. Go! Spray it away. The bomb plant. Oh, that is just so unfortunate. He decides not to spam the bomb.
Yeah, bit of a curious decision to make from Flit there, considering the R2 player is very likely that he's going to hold the defuse.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to even throw out his nade. I guess that's part of him shrouding his location, where he's coming from. But if you're going to take that much time, yeah.
Definitely would have liked to just at least touch the bomb first.
Yeah.
And then
see where it takes you. Yeah.
Because then in that way, you know, you've eliminated that possibility.
Absolutely. Does salvage around though for HellRaisers. They're getting 4, but for their own map pick on the assumed easier side, not really a ideal scenario. And there you see it. forZe being heavily favored by GG.Bet at this stage, and you can't really argue with it. 1.12. On forZe to win the map, and also consequently the series could be a 2-0. We'll see what HellRaisers have to come up with though for their pistol round.
Well, Z-Power will take away Oscar. Man advantage is there on the forward side of things for the pistol, and this is incredibly important for them to pick up, obviously, if they want to try and close the series as quickly as possible. Because 11-4 is definitely a scoreline you can come back from. It's not a done deal. So HellRaisers just been able to pick up that final round of the first half. Definitely gives them a slight increase of a possibility of coming back into it. Well, Nuka, he is going to be dropped by Z-Power, and this is just a massacre. Not a single kill coming in from HellRaisers. It's all onto Law. He'll do a little bit of damage. There's the headshot finally connecting, the second coming in as well, but it's all just consolation for Ike's. FaZe will finish him off, 12-4. forZe are only 4 rounds away from taking this series 2-0.
Oh, man. What do you do if you're HellRaisers now? Do you go for the force spy here to try to bring it back as quickly as possible? Because you're giving such a big lead away to forZe here. And it's going to be the force spy. They're banking everything on this. Well, they might be banking everything on that. What you guys at home can do is head over to csgo.net and use code Chicago. That's going to net you 30% more of your balance on the deposit and potentially win some cool skins at that. Right now, though, forZe are looking to end this as quickly as possible, and winning this kind of a round is, well, going to take them a big step further.
Well, Oscar's not got an AWP, but he has got a scout.
Might do the trick, as
ooh, certainly a good hit.
Monster's not going to go for that repeat. Ducks out of bank. They already have 3 members of the CT side over on A, at least for the time being. Well, they do have Flit kind of rummaging around. And the system, HellRaisers got pretty good distance up here. They're going to be found by Almazer, so even if he does get tagged up and eventually goes down, he's made his presence felt.
Yeah, they're doing a good job here dealing with this forwards, not really being tested too much. All left alone, Deagle in hand, and no single consolation for Ike will be fine. So 13-4. Yeah, this is far from what HellRaisers would have wanted. They're not really in a position here where they can even afford a buy, and like even a half buy is not even really warranted here. So
yeah, it's gonna
be 14-4.
It's looking very likely, right? And as far as I know, Nordavind is not taking place of force, so they've been doing a pretty good job of dealing with anti-ecos. So
exactly, yeah.
It's looking very likely. 14-4 could be what HellRaisers just have to look at. And what a swing in just form. Obviously, forZe are playing really well, but it feels like everyone on the side of HellRaisers have just completely fallen off a cliff. There's not a single individual on their end that's actually
playing
giving them giving them hope in this.
The thing was with HellRaisers as well earlier. Yeah, they beat Nordavind, but the thing is, in the first half, it was very closely contested, right?
Yeah.
And it just took Oscar to get an ace to break them.
Yeah, it's off the slip-ups of Nordavind themselves and the heroics of Oscar to bring him into a comfortable spot in that matchup. And they've definitely not hit a comfortable spot so far. Jerry is going to hear that rotation away. Meanwhile, Almazer finds Lowell. And the numbers have just disappeared from HellRaisers. forZe standing strong as ever. Issa falls. And Nukia with 22 HP. Maybe can get a single frag, but there's no hope of winning the round at this stage. Does have the bomb, so maybe in some sort of a freak accident way you can find a bomb plant, but that's not to be.
Yeah, unless you teleported to a bomb site and then just
activate God mode.
Insta-plant.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things that needed to pan out for him.
A lot of impossible things. But so much money has been built up on forZe as well there.
Oh, they're sitting pretty.
Even after a massive reinvestment, they've gone for AUGs. They've just invested all the utility back into things. They've got enough kits across the board. A lot of them still have over $1,000. So apart from Almazer, he has a little bit quieter.
I mean, even better, right? They have 10 rounds to potentially work off of, so they can take all the ecos they want. You're not going to hit anyone there with that shot.
I feel like he tried to flick and shot at the same time, and it's kind of
I feel like that's what happens when he's trying to pull back and he just smashes his mouse into the keyboard and accidentally hits mouse 1 with it.
Oh, it would even be better if he shot his teammate. That would just be funny.
That would be.
Not for him.
That'd be something. Yeah, no.
Just funny to watch.
For the entertainment.
Let's get the Benny Hill music going.
Oscar does have an op on himself now. No armor, so aim punch could be a bit of a factor. Nades are also a lot more potent. Lowell just hanging out outside of Monster. The show is that one guy on every team that has this job.
It's kind of similar to, yeah, it's quite boring, isn't it? I would hate to get that role.
It's not riveting, right?
Unless it's just like an anti-eco rush or something. There's like all USPs just rush you through Monster, then it's a little bit fun. But
it doesn't happen too often, does it?
Your job is to basically sit there and just wait for a push.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. Although it's a necessary evil.
Absolutely is, because it does feel like the one time you don't do it, that's when you get punished heavily.
30 seconds left. And still not a whole lot done. And there's finally the opening kill. It's Issa to pick up FaZe, with Jerry again. Of course, he'll be there. But Nukia's come in with another kill. So HellRaisers, they're winning a couple of these fights. And unfortunately for Flit, he was caught between two angles. And this actually isn't looking too bad for HellRaisers. They've got the bomb planted, or at least close to it. Z-Power wants to go on in. Gets the drop and looks for the pick, but Almace is just patiently waiting for the player to fall back, and a fast shot from Z-Power comes in. Lol finished off, and Angel is into a 1v2, and Z-Power is just feeling it. He's just on another level right now, and it's going to be map point for forZe. Map and series points here. If they win this series, they go to the semifinals.
He's just kind of flown away with everything ever since he got that 2v1 clutch. Yeah. 1v2 clutch, hasn't he?
18-7.
18-7, and I mean his teammates aren't doing that much worse. To put it mildly, FaZe sitting at I think 17-9, Flit at 18-6. So
not bad,
not too shabby at all. This is quite the demonstration from forZe, and I mean if we didn't have any early favorites for the Invitational before today, I think you have to account for forZe now.
I think it would have been HellRaisers when you look at it on paper, and then suddenly forZe have just toyed with them. So.
Exactly. So is it who's going to be the one to stop them? Is it going to be Heroic potentially? I mean, it doesn't really look like many teams would stand a chance with what we're seeing out of the Russians right now. Z-Power again besting Oscar. It's been a familiar theme when these two teams have gone head to head.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rise of forZe throughout 2019, maybe in 2020, because the team has so much potential. And they've actually been together for quite some time, right, as well.
Yeah,
which is
stable lineup. Oh, and the second Angel gets out, he's going to get spotted. Doesn't actually get the frag either, and that's a really annoying metal plate.
Yeah, that boost is so common, or was so common, but again, it's not really used too often, and because of that, Angel not really expecting it, but he will get another kill to rectify his mistake. Lol, and Angel just going huge. He's got himself a triple. It's all under FaZe to try and get them over the line here to 16-4, and it might just be a step too far, but we'll see if he can make it happen.
That might be a 5th round at the very least, 1v3 for FaZe here, and they planted towards Bank as well, but they're going to give up a kill. Nice baiting there from FaZe. Is he going to be patient here? Oh, lol. Just a little bit too quick. He had the right idea, though. He didn't want to push forward because he seemingly was expecting the last HellRaisers players to actually push forward as well.
Well, the money from HellRaisers is actually
in the bin.
In the bin. It's not amazing money here for forZe. It's just because it's been so close and HellRaisers didn't even win that round convincingly. It's just the fact that they're not going to have a whole lot to work with. So this could very easily be a 16-5, or it could be HellRaisers starting a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah. They haven't managed to scrap together enough to get an op on Z-Power, though. So we will have that duel again versus Oscar, potentially. And again, it's all about finding those impact frags. If Z-Power finds 1 or 2 opening frags, that could be all they need. It kind of negates the issue of them having 2 pistols on their side, too. Well. Time for the moment of truth, potentially for HellRaisers, as they go up against... Well, they have 10 rounds to get, and they have to be perfect about it. Otherwise, we will see forZe making their way through to the semifinals.
Pretty crazy stuff. And, forZe were a replacement team in the Cologne Invitational. They weren't even a team that were invited or even qualified. So the fact that they are back here and they're doing this much damage is pretty impressive. Jerry is going to get rid of Law.
That's with the 5-7 as well.
Yeah, and that's a solid start. It's only the good rifles remaining as well. Well, split on a CZ, but
still do work with that.
Yeah.
Funny part is as well, forZe beat Wendigo, right, to get to this matchup, and that was who they replaced in the first Invitational. Now then, ooh, Oscar trying his luck, not gonna get the shot. No leg shot either this time on Almazer.
Those shots are just so difficult to hit, though, and it's so impressive when someone actually manages to land the shot.
Angel, he's seen quite a few boosts in his time. Did not expect that one to come through, though. Push out. Nice double peek from the side of forZe, but response is there. And now it's all down to Issis. Found 3 frags so far in the round. Does not want to play the op.
Ooh. He's actually doing a great job with juggling all the different pieces there. The bomb, the smoke, switching the rifle. He's going to plant the bomb on the more dangerous side here.
Being a wee bit paranoid here.
Yeah, he's completely paranoid at this point. Oh. And that's going to cost him. Zeepar walks up, catches him out, and a 16-5 win for forZe on HellRaisers' map pick of Overpass. A map that we've talked about them playing very well on and sort of preparing and having sort of like a secret weapon. But it's not a really good secret weapon.
Yeah, it didn't pan out. It was more of a dud. Shooting blanks for that one. They were looking so much better in their first matchup versus Nordavin. Even though they had a first half that was a little bit labored, once they got over to the second half, they looked a whole lot better. forZe just straight up trounced them. They've done that the entire day. Looked strong in the first map, looked extremely good on both maps here in the best of 3 series for them as we see the bracket and how it all panned out. forZe winning 2-0 versus HR to put them directly into semifinals match. That also means that we have a elimination game between Nordavin and Wendigo, as well as HellRaisers awaiting their potential opponent for a later day. But yeah, I guess initially expected results, and then you have the force domination of HellRaisers, which is, I mean, you might have been able to convince me that, force can win this, but I wouldn't expect it in 2 maps. Yeah,
I definitely didn't. We talked about if a team was going to 2-0, it was going to be HellRaisers. That's kind of what we said. Okay, if they win Mirage, they're definitely going to win Overpass. Well, we were completely wrong on that one, weren't we? Mirage comes in for forZe, and then suddenly, it's a whitewash on the second map as well.
Yeah, it was just incredibly impressive showing from so many of the force players. Again, as a team as well, you could see how well they were trading for the entirety of the series, just always being there for each other. So even though obviously there are some running away with more frags than others, I just think this was just collectively super solid performance from forZe, and for me, they are the teams that's performed the best so far out of the 2 groups.
Yeah, well, forZe continued to impress here at the Invitationals. They did in the Cologne Invitational, and on the Chicago Invitational, they reached the semi-final. HellRaisers, they can't quite get it done, but they are going to be awaiting their opponent of Wendigo versus Nordavin, and that one's going to be a very exciting one. But we've got more games tomorrow, so make sure you tune in at the same time. Tomorrow, we'll see you then.